Hello, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do some makeup art, but we're also going to talk about EDS. I'm going to wait for some more people to pop on, so I'm going to make sure I have everything set up that I need to be set up. As you're popping on, say hey. If you're catching this on a replay, make sure you comment that it's a replay. If you're new to watching my lives, if you could comment new, I would greatly appreciate that. Like I said, when you're popping on, hi Brooke, make sure say hey when you pop on. And if you're new, say that you're new, and if you caught it on the replay, say replay. While I wait for a few more people to pop on, I'm going to make sure I have everything set up that I'm going to be using on this live. And yes, I do have some stuff already on my face, and that's just because it was easier to start off with it there. Hi, Darlene. Hi, Crystal. So we're gonna get in here, and like I said, I'm gonna wait for a few more people to pop on before I get started. Hi, Becca. And we're gonna do some makeup art, and it's gonna be zebra themed. Okay, so just to give you a note, it's gonna be zebra themed because that is the symbol of rare diseases, which EDS is a rare disease that we're going to be talking about today. Hey girl, hey chica, hi Sean. So if you've never heard of EDS, you're not alone. There's a lot of people never heard of it. I never heard of it until I came across it accidentally, honestly, and I started reading a little bit about it. Hey Tasha. And I was like, what is this? And I was reading it and I said, this is what I have. I have this. And so I talked to my family doctor, and my family doctor connected me to a rheumatologist who confirmed that, yes, I do have EDS. EDS is a rare genetic condition, and there are several different types of EDS, and some of them can be intermingled, and EDS causes a lot of not nice things. So EDS can lead to a lot of fun complications, which I'm finding out more and more about. You have Chiari and EDS. Yeah, they haven't discovered any Chiari in me yet, but I'm thinking I might have because I have migraines all the time. And so I've been doing some research, and I still don't know all the answers. I'm still learning as I go because I was diagnosed last spring. Actually, it was in April. On April 30th last year that I was diagnosed with the EDS. And once I got that diagnosis and started doing some research on all of the things that EDS affects, because EDS is a multi-systematic disease. It literally affects just about every part of my body. And the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, oh, this explains so much of my life. My doctors, I've had several who told me I was a hypochondriac. My mom and dad, my family thought I was a hypochondriac because it was always one thing after another, after another, after another. I even had a doctor put in his notes. And when I got those medical records and those notes were in there, this doctor had put in there that he didn't think that I had anything wrong with me, that it was basically I was making it up to get attention. Like, it wasn't even that I was a hypochondriac and thinking, oh, hey, I have this, knowing more than the actual doctors, right? And so this doctor, he, basically said that I was lying to get attention. And I said, I wish I would have known, when I was seeing this doctor. Obviously, I wouldn't have went back. And I also would have, taken some steps to get him to, not be able to practice medicine, putting that, to say that, this patient presents as, hypochondriac symptom, whatever. But for him to say that I was lying just to get attention, that's kind of, one of those things that really shook me to my core. I had a doctor who made my mom cry because, like I said, my parents thought I was a hypochondriac because it was always one thing after another after another. I was having chronic bronchitis. And my mom took me to the doctor because she didn't think there was anything wrong, and she wanted to prove to me that there was nothing wrong. So she went with me to the doctor, and they did chest x-rays. And when they come back, hi, Ayla. When they come back, the doctor told my mom, he said, you have Chiari as well? Yeah. I'm gonna talk to my doctors about that because I've recently, learned about the Chiari, and I'm thinking that I might have that as well. So I'm gonna talk to my doctor and see if there's someone they can refer me to that can check for that. But this doctor told my mom, said, your daughter has chronic bronchitis, and you see these spots on her lungs. That's from you guys smoking around her. So your daughter is very sick, and you need to pay attention what she's saying. This was a doctor who he was a doctor forever. Like, he's one of those who used to make house calls, like literally. And so he made my mom cry. When we left that doctor's office, my mom said, I am so sorry, sis. She said, I thought you was just making it up. And she said, I had no idea that you really had, all this stuff going on. And the more that I learn about EDS, the more I learn that, hi, Charlie, the more I learn that, oh my goodness, I have had this, my whole life. Like I said, it's awesome to finally understand and know why, I have the sensitivity to light and my vision that I have, and keep spraining my ankles. Like, who would have thought that those things were connected? My increased sense of smell, my, digestive problems, my double jointedness, my migraines, my fatigue, my Raynaud's that I have fibromyalgia. I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, Raynaud's, the EDS, of course, and autonomic neuropathy. The doctor said she wasn't going to call it POTS per se, because when she did my ANSAR test, my pulse, my heart rate didn't stay up high enough, long enough. But she said it got up there, but it didn't stay long enough and high enough. And so, she said that that's the only criteria I didn't have for it to be technically classified as POTS. But autonomic neuropathy is in the same family as POTS. And so I've had all of this in the last 2 years. It's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind. Hi, Danielle. So it's been a whirlwind of activity and craziness. And so I decided, I don't know all that there is about EDS or any of the other diseases that I have or conditions. I just know that it's a genetic condition, and it literally links everything I've ever had wrong my whole life. And so I decided I wanted to, do this live to generate a little bit of awareness and get people talking about what is EDS, so people can look it up. Because when I park in a handicap spot, because I can't hardly walk, through the grocery store, and so if I don't park close, or if my husband doesn't drop me off, sometimes I almost can't make it through the grocery store. half hour in the grocery store and I almost can't make it sometimes, you know? And I apologize because I'm probably going to get super emotional talking about this because it's just one of those things. But my family doctor that I have now, I was asking her about renewing my handicap placard, and she says, well, do you think you really need it? She said, because my advice would be to you to park as far away from the door as possible and walk your butt in there so you can get some exercise. And I said, well, this is what I've got going on. My body is constantly fainting internally with my autonomic neuropathy, right? So the doctor, when she was telling me about my autonomic neuropathy, she told me that my body is constantly fainting internally. And she said, even if I don't pass out flat on the ground, she said, my body is constantly fainting internally. And she said, I don't know when it's going to happen. So I'm no longer allowed to drive ever again. And I'm not allowed to work. So that's why I started doing lives, to give me something to do, to give me a purpose. So I wasn't just sitting here at the house, a prisoner in my own home. And, because I told my husband, before I started doing these lives on a regular and doing the makeup art, I told my husband, I said, when we were moving down here and we were looking at houses, I didn't realize I was picking out my own prison. And so I figured, I needed to have something to do. And so I don't know why there's no share button, Danielle. So I decided, I needed to get this awareness out there, because I don't like when people look at me she can walk, she's fine, what's the matter with her? But they don't realize that on a regular basis, I just go disconnected is how I describe it. So the doctor said that when I'm fainting internally, she said it's like my whole body shuts down. Every system just stops working properly. And basically I'm having like an out-of-body experience, is the only way I can describe it. I feel like I'm disconnected from reality and I'm just kind of like lost in a trance. And so I wanted to get awareness out there. I want people to be talking about this. I want people to understand that, yeah, I might look like I'm fine, but they have no idea what I go through on a daily basis. None at all. And so I want people to, get it. And so I've joined a couple of EDS groups, and it has been so, I don't even know the right word. You're fine. But it has been so revealing and so uplifting to realize that there are people out there who are going through exactly the same thing that I'm going through. It's amazing to know that I'm not alone. I mean, I knew I wasn't alone, but to have these people reciting the exact same thing I've been going through, my whole life. More people need to know about this. So we're going to do a little EDS awareness, and I'm going to wipe my eyes here so that way we can get started. And I'm going to hopefully try not to cry while I'm doing this. So we're going to do a little bit of some zebra designs on my face. And like I said, if you know anybody that has EDS, anybody that's, hi Autumn, if you know anybody that's double jointed and, spraining their knees and ankles and wrists and things all the time, and they, just have a whole lot of things going on, that way, is that why you can't share? if you know anybody who's got, a million different things that doesn't seem like they could be related at all, and this person is going another thing, tell them to ask their doctor about EDS. Most doctors don't know what it is, but they can at least send you in the right direction. Most doctors do know who knows about EDS, so they can send you in the right direction. So let's get started. First off, I am going to do my eyes. And then see this lovely shape over here, this lovely design? Well, I know it's crude, but I wasn't wanting it to be, a perfect replica or anything. It's going to be something more after a while. But right now we're going to do my eyes, and then we're going to finish this guy up, and then I'm going to do some other fun loveliness for you folks, okay? So if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, I want you to go ahead and shout them out. And, if you're on here from one of the EDS groups that I'm in, if people are asking questions, if it's something that I can't answer, feel free to comment the answer, because like I said, I'm just learning. I don't know everything about it. So, there's people who were diagnosed, have had their diagnosis way longer than me and know way more about it. I just know what I've read, because I'm a logical, analytical, need to know kind of person. So when they tell me, hey, you got this going on, and hey, you got this going on, I research it because I want to know what's going on. What do I got going on? So I'm going to go ahead and do my eyes. And now this is going to take a little while because I don't have any white eyeshadow. So I'm going to be using my eyeliner pencil to do the white on my eyes. Okay. So just bear with me. This is what we're going to do. We're going to have some fun. Okay. We're going to have some seriousness and some fun all together, because that's what life's about. We're going to see if I can hold this down without getting on this other dude over here. Right now, I wish I had a bigger eyeliner pencil. We're not going to make it all the way completely white, just mostly. This one's going a lot easier than the other one, guys. Probably because I was trying not to hurt my little guy over there. All right. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Hi, Amy. We're going to see if I can't darken this one up a little bit. All right. All right. So we got the white on there. Now we're gonna get some black on there. Now the black I have has some sparkles in it, so we're gonna have some sparkly black going on. So how's everybody's day going? What's the weather like up there in Ohio? Is it still snowy bad up there? You guys still under like level 2s and 3s and all kinds of craziness? Hi, Katie. Woohoo. I'm just having some fun here today. We're drawing zebra stripes. Your snow's gone, Danielle? Yeah. In Ohio, I know they had more yesterday. You're in, where are you at, Danielle? I don't even know. Are you in New Jersey or are you in Maryland? Where are you at? Hey, Katie. How's that baby? It's still on the ground. It's just not snowing anymore. New Hampshire? Oh, okay. I knew you were up there in the New England states somewhere, Danielle. I just couldn't remember where. You know, that's funny that you're in New Hampshire, Danielle. My husband always told me that if he ever moved to a New England state, it would be New Hampshire. She just turned a month old. You're in Vegas visiting your Aunt Katie? It's snowing in Vegas? Oh, see, look. What is wrong with this world? It's snowing in Vegas? It ain't supposed to snow in Vegas. See, it's crazy. You're ready for the warmth? I know, I love snow. One time when I was a little girl, it snowed and snowed and snowed. And so I was probably, I mean, I wasn't little. I was probably like 14, something like that. But it snowed all, like, for like a week, it snowed. And we had probably 3 foot of snow on the ground. And I've always said that my ultimate dream was to have it be warm enough I could go outside and play in the snow without needing a coat. Because I loved the snow, but I didn't like the cold that came with it. And so this was in early spring. Hi, Dawn. And so it was in early spring, and we had like 3 to 4 feet of snow on the ground. And then before it all melted, it got to 70 degrees outside. So I was outside playing in the snow with no coat. You know, it was awesome. I'm like, oh, my dream come true. And of course, that was when I was a teenager. And I'm like, of course, you know, when all your dreams come true when you're little, what do you got left, right? We're just drawing some stripes on my face. So, you know. And of course, they're not going to be even because, well, we're doing a zebra theme here. So, and zebra stripes aren't even. They just are. Oh, hi, Donna. Hi, Pearl. All right, so if I see you pop on, I'll say hi. If I don't, I apologize. All right, so now we got some stripes going up there. We'll just leave that because we're going to fill that in later anyway. Now, my awesome mother-in-law, Darlene, took me and we got some face paints today. So that way I could use them for this live. So I'm going to take, I am, Darlene, I apologize. I am going to take my pencil here and draw this neck shape with my pencil because it's just going to be so much easier to draw it first, and then we're going to fill the stuff in and we're going to have some fun. So We're gonna do something a little different today, and just wish me luck that it turns out. Okay, I'm gonna be all up in your faces, and I apologize. You know, camera front of the mirror, so. I'm using the pencil because it draws so easy. That's why I decided to go with the pencil. All right, now's where it's gonna get fun, y'all. Hi, Donna. All right, I'm gonna sharpen my pencil just a little bit. Dawn, you guys still have snow up there in Mass? And how you feeling? Are you feeling better? You ready for sunbathing at Danielle's house? I hear ya. I'm ready for something, that's for sure. It's not been too bad down here in Mississippi. So you know. All right. Hi, Donna. All right, now we got the basic design drawn. Now we're gonna dip into these body paints, or these face paints, and we're gonna see what we can't do. All right. If I'm blurring, I'm sorry, guys, because I'm looking a little blurry on my end. Am I blurry on your end, guys? Or is it just my end that's doing that craziness? All right, now. Never face painted on myself before, guys. I have face painted on other people, but never on myself, so we're gonna see how this goes. And as you're popping on, say hi. If you're new, let me know you're new. Donna, where are you at? Are you still in Ohio somewhere? Hi, Autumn. Sarah, do you have EDS too? I think my daughter has it, y'all, but she doesn't want to go get tested. She said she'd rather not know. And so right now she's 20. She can make that decision herself. Like, I didn't find out until she was 19. So she was almost 20. So I have to respect her wishes and not force her to go get tested. But I really wish she would. Because, like I said, I think she has it too. You're in Ohio, Donna? You got a bunch of snow up there? I'm just having fun, drawing lines on myself. You still on here, Sarah? I know there's that lag here, so we'll give it a minute. And like always, shares are welcome and much appreciated. So if you want to just hit that little share button and throw up some hearts and some likes, that's always wonderful. Your snow's melting, Donna. Where are you at in Ohio? So it's been rainy and kind of cold down here in Mississippi where I'm at. But nothing like what it is up there in Ohio. I can deal with the cold that I got going on. It hasn't been below 0. So I'm okay with that. I'm just drawing some stripes. Because we're doing a zebra theme today, you know. All right. Now, a little bit more about EDS. So, I have, as of right now, they've only diagnosed me with the hypermobility type of EDS. The hypermobility type of EDS involves the joints and the skin, and, it does affect the, same systems. A lot of the same systems that the other types, affect. But one thing that determines if you have the hypermobility type of EDS is called the Brighton scale. And they literally have you bend your body into weird shapes and see if your body can do it and what degree. Hi, babe. I love you. And to what degree your body can do these things. So, like they measure the angle. They have you flex your elbows, and they have you, flex your knees, and they measure the degree. And then they have you do things with your fingers. And I'll show you guys a little bit. I try not to do it too much because it's not good. So the doctors told me that they didn't send me for the genetic testing to find out exactly which type I have, because they told me that since I was almost 40 when I was diagnosed, or no, since I was 40, forgive me, since I was 40 when I was diagnosed, that it was basically too late to really do anything. They said that the damage was already done to my ligaments and my joints and things like that. And so they told me that there was really no point in finding out for sure, because they said, you know, you meet the criteria for having it. We're not going to test you because there's nothing we can do to stop the damage that's already been done. And they said the only thing that we can recommend now is to try to prevent any more damage from being done. So, that was a kick in the gut, because I used to always show people the things that I could do, and like kids and stuff like that. Because when you can do something, you want to show it off, right? Like if you have something, hey, I can do this, and you can't. You show it off when you're a kid. And had I known then that was bad, well, I wouldn't have done it. But I didn't know then. So, I'll show you some of the things. So before I paint, I'll let this dry a little bit. So one of the things they do, they have you hold your hand like this and see if you can touch your thumb to your forearm, and they see how close can you get it. And the right hand is the only one that I couldn't actually touch. And that's probably because of my tendinitis. When I was a kid, I could. And then they have you take and flex your pinky back and see how far can you bend that back. If you can go past a certain point, then they consider that. And so they check your elbows. Okay, now this is gonna be weird for you guys. I'm gonna turn a little bit so you can see it in the camera. Okay, so they check your elbows. This, guys, is straight up and down for me, and you see that my elbow is kind of so my hand. I want you to see my hand. See my hand? See, my elbow is straight up and down. My hand is not. Let me see if I can get this in here so you can see it, because this is kind of a creepy thing that I can do. Okay, so I'm going to show you where you can see my wrist. Okay, so see that? That's not normal, people. That's not normal. And, I've never was a dancer, and I can stand up with my feet flat on the floor and bend over and touch my palms to the floor without bending my knees. That's not normal either. And I didn't know that all of this was hurting me. When I was a kid, I used to W-sit. Do you know what W-sit is? It's where you sit and you have your knees bent and you have your legs out to the sides, so that way your legs look like a W. Well, that's how I used to sit all the time on the floor. I would sit like this. Yeah, Crystal. It's not normal. And I can do it with both elbows, and I can do things okay, so I'm going to take off my watch because that way it doesn't hurt me. I used to do this, I put my hands together back to back, and I can turn my hands all the way around, okay, without letting go. This is not normal. And I didn't know what it was. Nobody knew, my family. I don't know who in my family had this because it's a genetic condition. But a lot of my family is double jointed like that. But nobody was ever diagnosed as having EDS as far as I know. So I might be the first one that has the official diagnosis. I don't know. But I used to W-sit all the time. And And then, so after I would be sitting there for a while, you can do all that. Crystal, you better get yourself checked. Girl, I'm not even kidding. Okay? So, I used to, you're very double jointed, Crystal. I'm telling you, you might want to get checked for the EDS because that also links to endometrial problems and digestive problems, migraines, like everything that I know you have, Crystal. EDS links it all together. So you might want to talk to your doctor about it. But when I would sit in that W position, I would lay back. So I'm flat on my back with my legs bent yeah. I mean, I can't even explain to you. So let me just draw you a picture, okay? So say this finger is, the floor, and I would sit with my leg here and my knees together and my other leg out here, and then I would lay back. And that's how I laid I mean, I was comfortable that way. I didn't know that wasn't normal, my knee, when I was probably 10, okay, I was the only one home. My parents were, my mom was at work and my dad was outside with the other 3 kids. They were out in the woods, and so I was the only one in the house. And I was climbing up onto my top bunk, and I used to just grab a hold of the bunk and jump up. Well, my kneecap ended up on the side of my knee. Like, not even kidding, my knee was twisted sideways. And I was stuck halfway up and halfway down. And I'm like, this is not good. I'm like, this can't work. And so I had to take my own fist and pop my knee back up into place so I could get all the rest of the way up on the top bunk. And then I just lay there in pain for hours because there was nobody else. I couldn't be stuck halfway up and halfway down. Like, that just doesn't work. And didn't know that any of this was causing me permanent damage that can't be fixed. Permanent damage that can't be fixed. And I didn't know it. So, I wish that I would have known then what I know now, because I wouldn't have as many problems as I have, as I did then, or as I do now. If I would have known now then what I know now. But another thing that when I'm standing straight up and down, my knees, they're basically curved this way. Okay, so if I'm standing straight up and down like this, instead of my knees popping out like this, my knees pop backwards like that, just like my knuckles do. Yeah, because that's another thing. Not supposed to be like that. All my joints go the opposite direction. And the only thing that they can do, because EDS, what it is there's a problem with the collagen in your body when you have EDS. That's the genetic mutation. It affects your collagen. And so, when you don't have collagen supporting your joints, well, they just get all loosey-goosey and do whatever. It's not fun. It's kind of crazy. And, I wish that I didn't have it, but I do. So, I have to just deal with it, now. Hi, Kelly. So, if you have any questions, if you want to know anything else, just ask some questions and I'll see what I can answer about the EDS. Because like I said, I want to get awareness out there. I want people to know. Right now, I'm just kind of drawing on my face. So the zebra ribbon is the symbol for rare diseases. You know, like the pink ribbon is the symbol for breast cancer. The zebra ribbon is the symbol for rare diseases. And I recently found out, so it's kind of cool that I'm doing this now. So I recently found out that February is Rare Diseases Awareness Month. And specifically February 28th is EDS Awareness Month, okay? Like I just literally found that out today. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, wow, see? I learned so much just because I was doing a little bit of research before I popped on here. So, like I said, you know, if you got any questions, if you know anybody who has EDS or, you know, anything like that, let me know what you got going on. After I get this painted, we'll talk some more in depth, but right now I'm trying to get this painted and not start being all emotional. So I'm trying not to do too much talking about it right now. Is it looking kind of zebra stripey, guys? I mean, you know, zebra stripes aren't even, so I'm just kind of trying to get some going here. These face paints sure do help, Darlene. Thank you. Now what I did on my eyes, this was my unique white eyeliner and some unique eyeshadow that I did the stripes on my eyes with, because I'm not allowed to use this face paint on my eyes. And then I used my black unique eyeliner to draw this ribbon shape, just because it draws smoother than I thought I could do with the paintbrush. Since it is a pencil, you know. Okay, now, because I really want to complete this look. Looking good? Thanks, Kelly. But I want to talk to y'all some more about EDS. I want you all to know I want you all to know what I know, even though I don't know everything. I'm just learning. But I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot in the short amount of time that I've had my diagnosis. So, because like I said, I'm one of these people, I need to know. I need to know what's going on with my body. I need to know why some days I can't get out of bed. I need to know why, you know, I was going through physical therapy and they were hurting me more than they were helping me. And so they started doing aqua therapy because they literally were bruising my muscles, trying to relax them. They were contracted so tight. You know, I have these questions and I wanted answers, and I'm so glad I finally got an answer. Wasn't exactly the answer I wanted when I found out that, you know, it's uncurable and I'm stuck with it for the rest of my life. But at least it was an answer that told me, hey, this is why you have this problem. As a matter of fact, the rheumatologist, when I was at her office and she was giving me the diagnosis, they said to me, now, you know, do you need us to explain anything that we've just told you? You know, do you have any questions? Do you need us to help you comprehend and understand what we've just told you? And I told them, I said, no. I said, it's good to finally know, finally have an answer and know what's going on with my body. I'm like, I'm just happy to finally have an answer. Hi, Kat. So I'm trying to finish this up before we do any serious talking. Is it manageable? Sometimes. Sometimes it's not, Kelly. Like I said, there's some days I can't get out of bed because my whole body just refuses. I can literally be fine 1 minute, do a load of laundry, and that overexerted myself and my body just shuts down. Because my EDS has caused so many other conditions, they're all linked together. And so, you know, some days it's not. That's why I'm not allowed to work and why I'm not allowed to drive anymore. There's not any real medication that they can give me for the EDS itself. They treat the individual conditions that are resulted from the EDS. So like my migraines, I have migraine medication that sometimes helps and sometimes doesn't. Sometimes when I have a migraine, the only thing that works is I just have to sleep it off, and I have to be in a completely dark room with my eye mask on, no sound, no lights, you know, nothing. And, you know, sometimes if I catch it in time, I can just take some Advil and be fine. And then, I have major digestive problems. I just had my gallbladder out, back in, 2017. I had my gallbladder out, and, so that makes life fun, to say the least. And then, hi, Pam. And so I have a lot of, you know, bacon doesn't like me anymore. And I had my husband, he said, I said, I ordered something and I said I wanted bacon on it. And he goes, and I said, just because bacon doesn't like me doesn't mean I don't still like bacon. I'm like, I'm going to eat it, even though I know I'm going to pay for it. But every once in a while, you just got to have bacon, right? And then, another reason that walking is so hard, because I have sprained my left ankle 5 times. 4 of those times were just walking. The very first time I ever know that I sprained my ankle. I didn't know I had sprained my ankle until a week later. And at that point, there wasn't a whole lot they could do. And I had to be on crutches for 8 weeks. I was on crutches. Remember that, Pam? And then I did something stupid the second time I sprained my ankle. It was my own stupidity, but I was on crutches for a month with that one. And then, so, when you can be just walking, like literally, I can just be walking. Like it's no big deal. I'm just walking down the street, walking in the grocery store, and my ankle can sprain. I don't have to twist it. Just normal walking, and I can sprain my ankle. So when you have that kind of situation, it makes life tough. But sometimes sometimes it can be manageable, and sometimes, there's not a whole lot they can do. I've been telling everybody, people have been asking me, how you doing? The people who know, that I have the EDS and everything. And I just say, I'm taking it day by day. That's all I can do right now. Just take it day by day and hope for the best and see what happens. All right, so now we got that all done. Hey, I didn't do too bad making that ribbon around my eye, did I? All right, now we're gonna color in the zebra. We're gonna color him in all white, and then I'm gonna paint some black stripes on him. Okay. We're gonna color him in all white, and then gonna let him dry a little bit, and I'm gonna do something else fun. Hi, Candy. All right, we're getting there, guys. And then we're going to have some serious discussion. Because I know that once I start really talking about it, I'm gonna get super emotional like I did earlier, and I'm hoping that this paint is all dry before that happens. So what's new with everybody? Talk to me. What y'all got going on while I'm finishing this up? Candy, I see your kids are getting too big. Have you seen Sam lately? Anything she's posted on Facebook or anything? Hi, Michael. Michael, tell us you're cooking dinner, Crystal? Michael, tell us why we all need to be where you are. You can only draw stick figures. Hey, everybody starts somewhere, Michael. That's how I started, okay? Michael, tell everybody why we should be where you are. What do you got going on down there? What's your weather? Because it's 88 degrees where Michael is, everybody. Michael lives in Florida. He done got smart and moved down there where it's warm. I mean, it's not bad here, but it's not 88 degrees either. I'm drawing a zebra on my face, Michael. Tom dreaming he's gonna win a gun in a raffle. Crystal wants you to send some of your warm weather to her in South Carolina, Michael. Sending up some heat and some warmth. Awesome. Thanks, Michael. I am doing this post on EDS Awareness, and the zebra is the symbol for EDS and rare diseases. So that's why I'm doing some zebras all over my face. Michael said he's sending you some warmth there. Right, Crystal? I got 2 crystals on here right now, guys, so yeah. I might go Crystal K and Crystal C. When I'm responding to comments. All right. It's just a coffee in your hands? Oh, I love you guys. You guys are all cracking me up. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, now we're gonna paint my eyebrows, people. What do you think? Should I paint this eyebrow that you can see? Maybe do the other one a little bit? I don't know. We're gonna do the one that you can see real well though. We're having some fun, and we're gonna do that while the white on my zebra over here dries. All right, I think it's gonna take a couple of coats. What do you think? Yeah, not bad. All right, we'll get some on here. All right, now I want to tell y'all a little bit more about my EDS. So, like I said, I come across EDS quite by accident. So a friend of mine, I was selling Colonial supplemental insurance because they wouldn't let me do anything else. And at that point, the doctors had told me that I really shouldn't work in any kind of physical, strenuous capacity employment ever again, because the physical therapy wasn't working, and I'm doing a great job. You have to get back to putting a floor in. Okay, Awesome, awesome. Keep smiling. Perfect, Michael. You have to send me pictures when it's all done, okay? I like seeing restorations and transformations like that. But anyway, so the physical therapist is the first person who told me that she didn't recommend that I return to any kind of strenuous physical employment ever. She said not a desk job, not, working in a factory. She said nothing that required me to be in one position for a long period of time. So that's why I started selling Colonial. And so I was doing that because I made my own schedule. I was my own boss. I could do what I wanted. And if I had a bad day and had a spasm in my back, I could just go home. No questions asked. I was my own boss. I didn't have to call anybody and say, hey, I'm going home. I just went home. And so fast forward, I'm doing Colonial, and I was talking to some clients, and we were talking about the prescription plan that Colonial has. They have a little card that they give you that gives you discount on prescriptions. Well, she wanted me to see if I could find out if there was a specific medication on this list that she could get a discount for her mom, because her mom had this condition. Well, she told me what the medical condition was her mom had. Hi, Kylie. And she said, what you said you got going on sounds a lot like what my mom has going on. Well, so after that, I went to look it up one night, and I couldn't remember what she said the condition was. And I thought, well, I know what the medication is because I had it wrote down so I could check and see if it was on the list for this, discount program. And so I went and I typed it in, what is this medication used for? And lo and behold, one of the things that popped up said EDS. And I said, what is EDS? I've never heard of EDS. So I started reading it. And this is why I said I quite came about, my EDS on accident. So I started reading it. And the more I read about what this EDS was, the more I knew that this was what I had. And my husband, he come home and he said, are you self-diagnosing again? And I said, I don't self-diagnose. I'm like, I just look up, what's going on and then ask the doctor, hey, could this be what it is? Just to kind of give him a way to go. And since I had so much, I had to help him out a little bit. And so he's like, are you self-diagnosing again? And I said, no, I'm not. I said, but here, read this. I said, I was looking up this medication to see what it's used for because, they told me that what I had going on was similar to what, their mom had going on. And so he started reading it. He stopped reading it and looked up at me. And he read it some more and he looked up at me and he goes, you have this. And I was like, right? That's what I'm telling you. I think that this is the answer. I think this is what I have. I think that's what I got going on. And so then that's when I asked my family doctor, and she said she only had one other patient in the whole time she was a doctor that ever had EDS, and she inherited them from another doctor when she took over the practice. And so she sent me to the rheumatologist, and they, did determine that, yes, I had EDS. And they officially diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And then I was advised by 4 medical professionals that I needed to move out of the state of Ohio. I spent the month of April practically confined to my house because I felt like a Mack truck was had run over me every day, all day, back in 2018. And so my husband and I, we made the decision to move to a more stable, temperate climate. And we figured we would come down here to Mississippi because my in-laws were down here. And that way we wouldn't be completely starting over fresh with nobody that we knew. And so then come down here, and I was feeling so much better, and I started, working, and I was waiting tables because it's something I know how to do. And so I was waiting tables and almost passed out at work a few times one day. And so ended up at the emergency room. That was one of the first times that I ever really, really felt my out-of-body experience, as I call it. That disconnect from reality was that day when I was working at a Golden Corral. Like I said, I was waiting tables. And so I was standing there, and I felt really lightheaded, like I was going to pass out a couple of different times already to this point. Then the cups at Golden Corral are up high in the server station, and I was reaching up, putting those up, and I turned around after I did that, and I literally fell into one of the other girls, and she's like, "Whoa, what was that? What's going on?" So I was telling her. And while I was talking to her, the next thing I know, she says, sit down right now. I'm going to go get the manager. You sit down. And I'm like, why? And she goes, because girl, you were talking to me. She said, your mouth was doing this and your eyes rolled in the back of your head while you was still talking. She goes, you don't even know that you just literally, your eyes rolled in the back of your head and you were not there, but you were still talking. And even my manager, when she come over, she said, something's not right with you. It's like you're here, but you're not here. She's like, you're so distant. Well, I had that one other time before when I worked at Anchor Preservations, when I wound up in the emergency room, and then they admitted me, and I was there for 2 days, and they sent me home, and I went back to work and wound back up in the emergency room. Well, the day that I wound back up in the emergency room, was the same thing. Like, they called the squad to come get me from work. And went back to the emergency room. And that emergency room doctor, I wanted to punch him in his face, because when he walked into that room, he said to me, what, did you miss us so bad you had to come back again? Without even looking at me. That was the first thing he said. And I just wanted to punch him in the face. I mean, it was heart-wrenching and, it hit me. I'm like, are you serious? I'm having major problems. Like, the squad would not have brought me in from work if I was okay. Like, they would have just said, oh, you're fine, and left. Because they don't take you to the hospital if you're okay once they get there. And so this doctor, from then on, I went one other time to the emergency room, and this doctor was the one that was there. And I went to the urgent care instead that was at the same hospital. Even though I knew I would not get as much as I could have gotten going to the emergency room, but I was not going to see that doctor again, because I was like, that's just wrong, So then from there, things just kept getting worse. That's when, I was doing physical therapy, and nothing was helping. Like, it just kept getting worse and kept getting worse. And so finally, like I said, my physical therapist, she told me not to return to any kind of strenuous physical capacity employment ever. And then my family doctor sent me to an ortho-neuro doctor. And this ortho-neuro doctor did an MRI on my spine, and it come back that I had 2 types of arthritis in my spine. And so then they sent me to a pain management doctor. And the pain management doctor did some injections in my back that helped for a while. Hi, Betty. And then it started, acting up again. And then that's when I found out about the EDS. And then I found out that literally everything else that has ever happened to me before is caused because of the EDS. So the EDS literally affects every system in my body. And I've been having some major vision problems. That's why I had to cancel a live last week. Because, well, I couldn't see. All right, guys, does it look like a zebra? We're going to leave him like that because I think he's kind of cute. But so anyway, I started having major vision problems, and I looked that up. And I found out that vision problems are common in people with EDS because, well, your eyes are made of collagen. And when you have EDS, it's a collagen problem. It's a genetic mutation. I tell people, so if you like what I'm about to say, when you watch this, and if you're watching now, and when you watch it on the replay, throw me up some laughy faces, because this is what I tell people, okay? I tell people now, I said, I have EDS. It's a genetic mutation, and it's linked to 2 other genetic mutations. So I'm a mutant. I'd like my superpowers now, okay? Like, if I'm a mutant, I want my superpowers. I want to be able to cause storms. I want to be able to, have laser vision. I want to be able to move things telepathically. Where's my superpowers? I want to be an X-Men. Come on. I'm a mutant. I've always told people that they're never going to find anybody as unique as I am in their life until my daughter came along, and she's literally my replica. And I said, oh, that poor child. Because she's my replica. But I said, I said now, it makes sense. I'm a mutant. I would like my superpowers now. But, back to a more serious note, so I found out that, the EDS can cause my eyes to completely go haywire. So I have to go see the eye doctor soon and find out if there's anything they can do to repair whatever damage has been done, because I know there's some, because I have lots of problems. Like I said, this here with you guys is the highlight of my day. That's why I love doing these lives. For a couple of weeks, and I'm going to get all super emotional on you right now, and I apologize, but for a couple of weeks, I just sat and cried. Every day I cried because I can't go anywhere. I have to depend on the kindness of others to go anywhere. I can't just get in a car and go to Walmart when I'm tired of sitting at the house. I just sit here day in and day out. Started arguing with the animals. This is how bad it is. I've been arguing with my animals. Like, they drive me crazy. And so, I got some tears. But so I literally, started arguing with my animals, and I told my husband, I said, I said, on your days off, you have to take me somewhere, anywhere. I'm like, I mean, trips to the grocery store are fantastic, because it gets me out of the house. So that's why I started doing these lives. I decided, you know what? I have makeup. I can draw. Let's put the two together and do something that I can have fun and, um, just cut loose and not be thinking about, all of the bad stuff I got going on and how I'm not allowed to do anything and I'm just stuck here day in and day out. Why not make it, why not have something to get my mind off of that? My mother-in-law, she is a very, very firm supporter of that. She doesn't let me get myself down too much, or my husband, he doesn't either. Both of them, try to bring me up out of my rut every time I get down in there. And, like I said, it was coming more and more frequently. I was getting down there because, a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them what I got going on, and because they don't understand. They don't know what it is. So one of the things that I found out about EDS is that this genetic mutation can affect lots and lots and lots of different genes. But one of the gene that links EDS and POTS and mast cell activation syndrome. Let me tell you a little bit about mast cell activation syndrome. I haven't been diagnosed with it yet, but I'm thinking that I have the mutation that causes all three of those. It literally makes you attack yourself. It causes problems with your T cells, with your fighter cells, the ones that tell you, hey, fight off this infection. Hey, take care of that. And it literally makes your body think that itself is the enemy. Deep breathing can be seen as a threat. And if you try to take a deep breath, your body can have an allergic reaction to you taking a deep breath. And so I'm going to ask my doctor, because the more I look into, it's called MCAS. So the more I look into things about that, the more I'm thinking that that's something that I've got going on. And so I want to find out from the doctors if that's a possibility. So this genetic mutation that links all of these things causes autonomic neuropathy. And I know I have the autonomic neuropathy. Autonomic neuropathy is linked to EDS on a wide range scale. And it also, autonomic neuropathy causes my nerves to not work properly. So I have pain sensation all the time. Autonomic neuropathy is linked to the fibromyalgia. So literally, anything can cause me pain for no reason. Just, 1 minute somebody can touch me and I'm fine. And the next minute they can touch me in that exact same place and it causes me excruciating pain. And so I found out that it also is linked to a lot of brain issues because, well, your brain, most of the stuff in your brain is that connective tissue. It's collagen. It's stuff like that. That's what you got a lot in your brain. And obviously in your neck and your vertebrae. And so there are a lot of major things that I'm learning about that EDS is connected to that, in all honesty, scare the crap out of me. And that's part of why I want to raise some awareness, because, I mean, with the EDS, there's a high possibility of aneurysms. There's there were a few people commented on here that they have Chiari. Chiari is where literally part of your brain leaks out of your skull into your spine. And there's different degrees of Chiari. And so, literally, so much stuff about EDS scares me to death. And, that's why we need to have more awareness. Doctors need to know. The world needs to know more about EDS, because somebody can be just fine and then the next second have one of these flare-ups and, be on the ground and need to be hospitalized, and they were just fine. Like, for no reason, these things can happen. Like, right now, how long I've been sitting here without a support for my back is tightening up and my muscles are going to seize. I know that that's what's going to happen because my back has been like this before. One of the only things that relieves that is if I lay face down on a bed of pillows on top of my mattress. And so, you have to learn what works and what doesn't, so you can, deal with it, so you can overcome. You have Chiari, Donna? Yeah. So, sometimes you just have to learn what works for you, and, figure out how best your body deals with it. Because I'm telling you, it's no picnic. My mom had a disease called scleroderma, and the more that I read about EDS, the more I think my mom had EDS, and that's what led to her scleroderma come into light, because they don't have a direct link yet, but when you have EDS, it causes, thanks Donna, when you have EDS, it causes all of your systems to be working at a lesser level, per se, than they would be. And so it causes you to, be in that weakened state. And that's when scleroderma comes and says, hey. And you had 6-hour brain surgery. Oh my goodness, Donna, I didn't know that. We'll have to talk. But so the more I learn about EDS, the more I think my mom had it, and that's what, when that time came, that's when the scleroderma developed. Now, everybody tells me, don't think the worst. Scleroderma is not, known to be hereditary. At this point in time, they have had no known cases where it was passed down from one generation to another. So I try not to, get that in the back of my head. But, scleroderma is not anything fun. But the more that I'm discovering, I think my mom had the EDS beforehand, and then the scleroderma came later. And EDS is no fun. It's not fun. I've joined these. I've joined a couple of EDS groups, and you should see what some of us are going through. there are people on there that, one doctor after another have told them they're crazy, that it's all in their head. And, it's not just all in their head. I mean, yeah, a lot of it is in the head because, the brain's made of collagen and mostly, and EDS is a collagen, issue. And so, I was reading on there earlier today. I was in the one group, and I mean, this is a group where people can put their symptoms and their problems that they're having, and other people who have been diagnosed for a long time that have been there, that are going through it, have been through it, can kind of help them and give them some advice and things on what to do to help it. And it's wonderful to have that. That's why I want to try to, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I've got zebras all over my face, to get the word out. Because, more people need to, know how to help those of us with EDS. My husband is a godsend. Without my husband, I probably would be way worse than I am right now. I've always been known as the comforter. Like my whole life, I've been the comforter. And when my husband came along, so my husband and I, we graduated together. Hi, Candy. And at our 20-year class reunion was when he decided to let me know he'd liked me since junior high. Little background for you there. But so when my husband and I started dating, he became the comforter to the comforter. And I told him, I said, you are the only person ever been able to offer me true comfort. And I said, when my mom was dying, I'm sorry, I'm going to get real emotional now. So, right? Thanks, Kelly. So while my mom was laying there in her hospice bed, at home, and my cousins all came to visit because they were close to my mom. So we're all sitting there on the couch, and I had been there for my cousin her mom had passed away in February. My mom passed away in September the same year. They were sisters. My Aunt Bonnie passed away from lung cancer, and my mom from her scleroderma. So we were sitting there on the couch, me and my three cousins, and they said to me, we're here for you. When you need us, you just let us know. We're here to comfort you. And then the nurse was there at that time. And this was less than 3 or 4 days before my mom passed away. Like, this was like 2 days before my mom passed away. So the nurse was there, and the nurse was telling us, things were progressing rapidly and that my mom wouldn't be with us much longer. Well, my cousins all start crying. So the nurse is telling me that my mom is dying. My cousins are crying, and I have to comfort them first. And my cousin, she looked at me and she said, I promise we'll be there for you as soon as we're done and you stop comforting us. We'll be there to comfort you. And my husband is the only person who I didn't have to end up comforting back when he started to comfort me. Literally everyone in my whole life. Before my mom died, I didn't cry in front of people. Nobody knew. At my mom's funeral, we're at the cemetery, and my brother started crying, and he was just so distraught. And he said to me, he's like, Sis, what are we going to do? He's like, that's our mom right there. And the look on his face just broke me so bad because I couldn't fix this. It was the first thing in his life I couldn't fix. I couldn't make it better. And so I started crying. And my one cousin, she saw it and she's trying to lighten the mood and trying to help me feel better. And she said, "Oh my goodness, you cry. You actually cry." Because none of them had ever seen me cry before. Because I was always the one taking care of them. I didn't have anybody to take care of me until my husband. The first thing that he ever really did for me, I went to the cemetery on my first not okay day after my mom passed away. And the lady came and she took the cemetery flowers away that were on my mom's grave, and it just left a bare dirt pile. And I told my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, I said, "Oh my goodness, it's just a bare pile of dirt." And I said, "I'm not okay again." I'm like, it's just so the next thing I know, I got a message from him. He had ordered cemetery flowers sent to me so I could put them on my mom's grave, so it wasn't just a bare pile of dirt where my mom was at. And in that moment, I knew that he was not allowed to ever go anywhere, because I knew then he was the comforter to the comforter, and he was going to be there to support me through everything that I ever had happen. Little did I know that a week after we got married, I was going to fall apart. Literally. A week after we got married was the first time I wound up in the emergency room when I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was having so much pain. The doctors couldn't figure it out either, so they sent me home. That was the first of many trips. That year, that was in 2016, that year I found out that I had stage 0 cervical cancer that they got when they did the leap, so that was nice. But then things just kept going from there and from there and from there. And literally, that was when I fell apart. I don't know what it was that it was that point in time. But it was 1 year after my mom passed away that I started falling apart. Like, completely. Like, I've had this my whole life. This EDS is a genetic condition I was born with, and I've had it my whole life. Little did I know, what was to come. Like I said, I wish I would have been diagnosed sooner, like a lot of people that I know were, because then I would have known what to expect. But like I said, thankfully, my wonderful husband has been my rock. He's been my comfort. And every time something new comes up, every time I hurt, every time I cry, he's there to comfort me and to hold me. And everybody needs someone like that. And, not everyone has that. I've noticed on this support group that I joined that a lot of these people are by themselves. They have no one, absolutely no one to, take care of them, to comfort them, to help them. And so, that's why I wanted to do this live and, raise some awareness for people with EDS. They need people to understand. We need people to not look at us like we're full of condensed cow crap, as my mom would say. She was, people look at us like we're, crazy because they can't see what's wrong with us. And when we tell them, hey, I've got this going on and this going on and this going on, people look at us like no one can have all of that. But we can. It's the truth. I had, chronic UTIs. I had chronic bronchitis. Yes, he is, Darlene. You did a great job raising him. But I I had chronic UTIs. I had chronic bronchitis. I had migraines since I was in elementary school, people. Okay? I've had vision problems for as long as I can remember. My junior year of high school, I couldn't take my final exam because I couldn't see the test. I couldn't see it. It was in math. I couldn't see the numbers. They all were just swimming together and blurred. And so I asked my math teacher, I told him, I said, I can't read this. Can you read it to me and I'll tell you the answers? So that's what we did. He read the test to me and I told him the answers. And that's how I took my final exam, my junior year of high school, for my math. And I didn't know then that it's because of this condition, you know? Over the years, I have had so much. I've had a lung obstruction. I've had severe endometriosis. Like I just said, I had the stage 0 cervical cancer. I've sprained my left ankle 5 times. My knees have no fluid left on them whatsoever. My elbows, I have trouble with them. My shoulders, I've sprained my shoulders, okay? Spraining your shoulders is a hard thing to do. And it's a hard thing to fix because the only thing they can do when you sprain your shoulder is make you wear a sling to hold your arm still. I've had vision problems. I've had tubes in my ears when I was 9 months old. Now I have, they want me to go do vestibular rehab because my vestibular organ in my right ear is not working, and I have 40% hearing loss in my left ear. And I have increased sense of smell. I have extra taste buds. I have a high sulfur allergy. I'm full anaphylactic to sulfa. I've had IBS. I have, you hear what I'm saying? Literally something, everything. I have gum disease. I mean, who would know that everything I just said to you that I have is connected? It's all connected from having the EDS. This one gene mutation that I have made my whole body affected. So, I mean, it is crazy. Yeah, vestibular, they're trying to figure out where I can get it done at. But it's all linked to the EDS. And the EDS causes POTS. And it causes the autonomic neuropathy that I have. And it causes fibromyalgia. And, migraines are part of every EDS person's life. And it's crazy to know that it's all connected. It's a blessing and it hurts all at the same time to know that I finally have an answer for everything I've ever had wrong with me. Even though it wasn't the answer I necessarily wanted, it's an answer that links everything I've ever went through in my whole life. And I'm so grateful that I have this answer. And I'm so grateful to all the people, right? But I am so grateful to have all the people who believed in me and who didn't think I was just making it up, that it was all in my head, that I was lying to get attention. It's wonderful having a support system, to finally have someone who believes in me. And I want everybody out there. Hello. Hi Shane. I want literally everyone out there who has EDS to know that they have a support system. Even if it's just, hey, message me. I'll be there for you. I've always been there for everyone. Like literally, like I said, I've always been the comforter. I've I've comforted strangers in the department store because they look like they needed it. I've just walked up and hugged random people because they look like they needed a hug. They look like I look right now. Something had them down. And so, that's what I do. Everybody needs to know that there's someone that they can turn to who doesn't think they're making it up, who doesn't think it's all in their head. So I wanted to raise some awareness about what I go through on a daily basis for my life and for the rest of my life. I have to go through this, but at least I know I'm not alone. There are some people who don't have that. They're all alone. One of the posts I seen on the EDS group I joined said that their significant other left them when they got their diagnosis because they couldn't handle it. That's just not right. That's the way that person needs them the most. I mean, seriously. I just don't understand. It just amazes me how some people can be so cruel to another person. Everyone needs someone. And so I just want people to know. Message me on Facebook and Messenger. Send me friend request. I'll be that someone for you because everyone needs someone. And I thank God I have all the someones that I have now. And I thank God that my mother-in-law got me into Unique because I have a lot of people with Unique that I can turn to because most of them have something wrong too. They have something going on in their life why they need a support system. And so they understand, they get it, they know. That's one thing I absolutely love about Unique and why, this is a company I stand behind 110,000%. As my husband says, that's not a real number. But I do. I stand behind Unique as firmly as I can stand behind anything because they stand behind all of us who have no one else. So, I just want everyone to know that there's someone out there who understands, who gets it. So if you do nothing else today, do this for me. Next time you're out somewhere and you see someone struggling with anything, help them. Help them. Let them know that the world still has good people left. The world's not all bad. Let them know that. Well, before I completely break down, because it's coming if I don't quit talking, I just wanted to raise a little awareness for EDS and, just get some things off my chest that a lot of people didn't know. And, I'm glad I found out some things about people that I didn't know. And, because that's why I've always tried to be nice to everyone, because you never know what they're going through. You never know what their smile is covering up, what their laugh is hiding. Be kind to everyone, always. Be kind to each other. And thank you all for watching. I love yous all. Bye-bye.